The Daily Wire is going through an implosion, folks. Why? Because not only has Jeremy Boring stepped down as CEO from the Daily Wire, but now they are facing a firing of senior executive Alyssa Cordova, the vice president of public relations. Are you ready for a deep dive? I am. I'm ready for a deep dive, and I'm gonna read it to you. This is a thread on Twitter, and it's by somebody named James Lee. Here we go. The Daily Wire just fired Alyssa Cordova, their VP of Public Relations. And according to sources, Alyssa Cordova was Jeremy's minion and was the one responsible for crafting the company's aggressive and paranoid media strategy. Cordova allegedly stalked former employees online, kept folders of clip videos of their enemies, helped wage internal vendettas under the guise of PR. Continuing on, there were mass layoffs, folks. The Daily Wire is also shuttering its kids division entirely, which is roughly a quarter of the company. If you remember, Ben Shapiro would advertise his kids show, Benki. I think that's what you would call it. I think that's what it was called. Internally, people are furious, of course. It was the conservative company in media for not a long time, a couple of years, since COVID, I would imagine. But it's collapsing. One source put it bluntly, quote, "If they let Jeremy go a long time ago, many people would still have jobs today. Everybody knows it," end quote. With the core of the company gone and its core leadership in flames, the big question is now, what happens to the people still there? Can Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, and the rest stay insulated from the chaos, or is it just the beginning of more turmoil to come? Obviously, people in the comments are gonna do what they do. I'm not gonna read the comments. But this is quite interesting. Somebody over here said, "Funny how the shut-off of USA money seems to correspond with this." No coincidences. I don't think that's true. You see, folks, this is all on Ben Shapiro, really. Ben and Jeremy, but let me tell you why it's really on Ben. Ever since October 7th, which was tragic, very bad, we're not going to sugarcoat that, the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro have become, shall I say, like a figurehead for Israeli talking points. Not only did they condemn Hamas, which did a very bad thing, October 7th was really, really bad, but then they started going on the offensive, meaning not America first, Israel first. I'm somebody that watched Ben Shapiro for, since like 2012, right? Big fan of Ben Shapiro. And Ben Shapiro was the guy for a decade plus. He was the conservative in media, standing up to people like Piers Morgan, standing up to Zoe Tur, standing up to anybody in media who was going to question him. All the angry millennial leftist liberals who would progressives who would constantly debate him, and Ben defending his points, making conservatism mainstream. For a long time, it was unpopular to be a conservative. For a long time, conservatism was only something that old people or boomers, essentially, were. It wasn't cool to be a conservative, right? Ben Shapiro made it cool to be a conservative. But ever since October 7th, he has went completely the opposite direction of America first. He's been Israel first. With the firings of Candace Owens, with the weird situation with Brett Cooper leaving the Daily Wire, all because of, notably, both of their outspoken opposition of Israel and what they're doing in Gaza. To when Ben Shapiro just labels all of the people in Gaza animals and says they all need to be eliminated from the face of the earth. I mean, he legit said this, which is not correct, by the way. They're not all animals. They're people. There's Catholics that live there. There's Christians that live there. There's Jewish people that live there. Palestinians, good Palestinians that live there too. They're not all animals. They're not all terrorists. But Ben repeatedly calling for the elimination of all the people that live in Gaza. and going so hard on the Israeli propaganda machine, it's turning a lot of people like myself that have been a fan of Ben for years, it's turning us off. Why? Because this is not what we signed up for. This is not who we decided to follow for a decade plus. You know what I mean? And so, yes, this is why the Daily Wire is losing money, because now they're straying from the core message, straying from the mission statement. So now it makes people like me wonder, was the Daily Wire ever pro-America? Were they ever pro-America first? And you see this again with the Christ is King thing once again coming up, and people at the Daily Wire, like, what's the guy's name? I don't even remember his name because he's so insignificant. Andrew Klavan. People like Andrew Klavan going back and saying, oh, no, if you say Christ is King, that's bad, and it's anti-Semitic. What? And then we go with the other thing. For a decade plus, people like Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire have been attacking the left on cancel culture, because cancel culture has been impacting conservative speech on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. We know this. On the internet, though. And now, if anybody says anything about Israel, oh, no, you're anti-Semitic. So much so that they will call for people to be censored if you criticize Israel. Ben Shapiro celebrated when that Palestinian guy was deported for being critical of Israel. That's real. And so, totally straying from your core values. When you're not the ones being censored anymore, if somebody else says something that you don't like, you think, okay, let's censor them. That's not okay. They completely shat on their core values and completely abandoned everything that they've stood for, everything that earned them so much respect. So this is why that happens. I don't know where it goes. I saw a couple of days ago Matt Walsh was being critical on Twitter about Israel and about just everything that they're doing. Doesn't agree with supporting Israel financially, thinks we should be America first, which to me personally sounds a little bit like Nick Fuentes, who Ben Shapiro has recently attacked. We'll play the clip. But it's funny because people like Ben Shapiro, actually Ben Shapiro, number one, has been the guy that got Nick in all this trouble. Because of Ben Shapiro, Nick Fuentes was on the no-fly list. He was debanked. He was somebody that was not allowed any major mainstream social media presence at all, because Ben felt threatened by Nick. Let's play this clip. This is a very interesting clip. I want you guys to understand it, because for majority of my lifetime, Ben Shapiro would never reference Nick by name, right? He would just say the alt-right, and then you would just wonder who it was. But because Ben is like obviously feeling all of the stuff that's happening at the Daily Wire, and because Nick is now gaining a reputation, you see that Ben feels threatened and is making accusations about Nick being a gay fed. So here we go.
This all in the same week that he posted a video alongside Nick Fuentes, who is definitely for sure not a fed, allegedly. Ye introduced him as his white supremacist homeboy Nick, to which both of them grin, while we see Kanye's newest necklace, a diamond-encrusted swastika, which Fuentes then described as cute and shiny and perfect with that outfit he just bought at Forever 21.
I wanted to be free with other creatures like me, and now I got my wish. Cause I know that I'm a gay fish, yo.
It does seem like even Ye's fans are getting tired of his antics, as the escalating attempts for shock value are receiving diminishing returns. You do have to wonder, though, what will he do next? No, he's not going to stoop that low. This all...
Okay, so he finally referenced Nick by name. Cool, whatever. Guys, it's not looking good for them, though. At the Daily Wire, we did a video on this a while ago, and I'm not going to talk about it for sake of wasting time. But you can look at Ben Shapiro and Candace, right? You look at both of their YouTube channels. Look at the past 50 YouTube videos for Candace. Look at the past 50 for Ben. Candace just passed Ben up in views. I think it's like 55 million for her for the past year. Ben's like 47, 48 million. But the problem is, the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro leading the Daily Wire, Jeremy Boring leading the Daily Wire, they abandoned their core values. And so this is what happens. Mark my words. Give it 4 years. In 4 years, my prediction, the Daily Wire will not be a thing. They'll be done. Matt Walsh will be separate. Michael Knowles will be separate. Ben Shapiro will still have a show, but it just won't be the Daily Wire. I mean, like, I don't know how you mess up this bad. You had a film like Am I Racist? You had a film like What is a Woman? Matt Walsh is a star in conservative media. As I see it right now, he might not be as big as Shapiro, but he's right there. You had these things. You were building a platform, and then ever since October 7th, you just decided to go 180 completely in the other way. And so this is what happens. He can complain all he wants about people being anti-Semitic, but that's not true. We just don't like what you're putting out. That's all it is. That's all I have to say. And it's a shame too, once again, because I was a fan of this. I was a fan.